Gentlemen, I'm John Calamar. I'm the village manager and also village clerk, and I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Village of Vernon Hills Village Board for July 5th, 2017. I need a roll call, please.
President Byrne, Trustees Cook,
Here.
Oppenheim, Takaoka, Hebda,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Markort.
Here.
We have a quorum. I need
Mr.
a...
Clerk, I
Okay,
would
sorry.
like to nominate Trustee Cook to be President Pro Tem for the duration of this meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
All right, then, since we've called everything to order and everything's all set, could we all please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. No, citizens.
Citizens wishing to speak.
Citizens wishing to address the board. I know we have a couple people wanted to talk about a couple of things.
Not on committee of the whole.
Yeah, I was hoping there would be more people here. But anyway, thank you.
It's
Hi.
televised.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with you. I'm here to ask for your help and discover how I can help. As you've read in the Chicago Tribune recently, the very heavy rainstorms have escalated the amount of pollution that is entering our waterways and from the small streams to our large rivers. The quality of our water and our air significantly determines the health of our residents. There are many avenues that exist where pollutants can affect our water and our air. I hope we can work together to tackle one particular culprit, coal tar-based sealants. They're used on driveways, residential and commercial, some recreational areas, and parking lots. Coal tar is produced when coal is subjected to high temperatures and contains high levels of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, short for PAHs. The coal tar is then used as a sealant to enhance the appearance of the underlying asphalt. The polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons are known to be toxic, mutagenic, and/or carcinogenic, and can cause birth defects. Ingestion, inhalation, and absorption through skin contact are all potential routes for exposure to PAHs. It should also be noted that PAHs are toxic to aquatic species. Severe biological defects and damage to the health of aquatic organisms can occur. Studies have shown that when day-old flathead minnows and water fleas are exposed to the direct runoff from coal tar sealed pavement, they experience 100% mortality. How do the PAHs get released from the coal tar sealant on the driveways and other treated areas? It is the friction from the vehicle tires that abrades the seal coat into small particles that can be tracked indoors on shoes, feet, paws, can be washed down storm drains, and inhaled as dust particles in the air. Are there alternatives to coal tar-based sealants? Yes, there are. Asphalt-based sealants and other products have been developed. In fact, the states west of the Continental Divide use primarily an asphalt-based sealant, which typically contains about 50 milligrams per kilogram of PAHs, while coal tar-based sealant primarily used east of the Continental Divide, which is us, usually contains 50,000 to 100,000 milligrams of kilogram per kilogram of PAHs. At the minimum, this is a 1,000-fold difference in the two products. Looking at the PAH concentrations of actual dust in the air from parking lots in central and eastern United States, cities where we are, where coal tar-based sealants are commonly used, one finds that the PAH concentrations are up to 3,000 times higher than in the western United States, where asphalt-based seal coat is more commonly used. Organizations have spoken up about the dangers of the PAHs in our environment and the hazards that they present. The U.S. Geological Survey have identified coal tar-based sealants as a major source of PAH contamination in urban and suburban areas. The 2016 American Medical Association policy calls for legislation either to ban the use of pavement sealants containing the PAHs or to mandate the use of seal coat products with minimal PAHs. The Sierra Club states that the pollution from coal tar and other pavement sealants containing high levels of PAH is a major problem in the Midwest. The League of Women Voters is working with communities toward the discontinued use of the coal tar-based sealants. The EPA predicted 7 years ago that the use of coal tar sealants could result in the same litigation that has embroiled the tobacco industry. So what states and cities have taken action to ban the coal tar sealants? States, Washington State and Minnesota, have statewide banned coal tar sealants. Cities, local ones, City of Winnetka, City of Highland Park, Village of Wilmette, and South Barrington. In 2006, the first ban was enacted in Austin, Texas. Included in your handout, well, I'll give you in a moment, is a sheet that describes the success of the ban to reduce by 58% of the PAH levels in Lady Bird Lake in Austin. I'm impressed and proud to relate that our corporate neighbors, Ace, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Menards, no longer sell coal tar sealants, but they sell the asphalt-based sealants. Are the alternatives to coal tar cost-effective? The asphalt-based sealants are cost-effective, and there are new products that are free of the coal tar that increase the benefits of using non-coal tar products. Your help in opening the conversation concerning the hazards of the coal tar sealants would be very much appreciated. I know there are different government layers that need to be brought into the conversation to make Vernon Hills a healthy place for living, working, recreating, and attending school. Your actions would be a significant help and be persuasive to others, and I certainly would lend whatever support I can. Thank you. And I'll hand out your information. I guess, are there any questions, or that's not
Any
part of it?
questions or comments from the board?
I remember meeting you a while back, and we had discussed this, and Dave isn't here tonight. I forgot where that was going to go. I know he was going to do some research.
Yeah, we need to provide you some information, so.
Yeah, the good news is, like you said, all of our
Stores.
purveyors,
Yeah.
have already taken
Yeah.
a preemptive step.
Yeah.
I think it would be difficult to monitor the one-off folks that do driveway sealing.
Well,
Maybe the larger ones.
It's one of those situations, I think, where we need to do it's a component of education and also enforcement. And, if the village was to take an action to prohibit the use of it, we would then immediately go to an education program by notifying all the paving companies in the metro area, and then try to get as many of the small guys as possible who run the neighborhood, so to speak.
Right.
Either through letters, some kind of open dialogue, or the police department, doing an information program and sticking things in the windows as they come through and the like, so.
There was, I know I've gotten 2 mailers this year. One was Dr. Blacktop, I think, is the one. And I forgot what the other one, do you know if?
No, I don't know. There are many, yes. I
Yeah.
just simply ask them if they have it.
Well, no, have you done any research on? whether-
Well, yes, I have a number of companies that will do it, but as far as the ones wandering through with like postcards like that, I don't know who's in and who's out. It would have to be as-you-go process of collecting them and then calling and asking them. So it's, but there's so many, there are a number of area residencies. I'm Stone Fence Farm, and they can certainly do their own education through their website, Hawthorne Village, or down on 45. There's another neighborhood situation. So a lot of these neighborhood situations could be doing education as well.
Okay, Trustee Hebda?
I think it's worthy of a discussion, and maybe when Dave Brown is back, we can bring this back and look into it and absolutely discuss it more, and we'll have our other board members here too. But I think it's worth looking into to see what we can
Great.
do. Sure, absolutely.
I'll put the handout, have a few extra that you can give to
Perfect.
Dave when he comes back.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
And while we're doing that, if we could maybe see if we can find a model ordinance or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. Other citizens wishing to address the board? something that's not on committee?
Come on up, Craig.
Come on.
Go ahead, Craig.
Yes, we will.
You all know me. Craig Warner, 16 Greenvale, Vernon Hills. And I'm here tonight to ask you to take some steps to get some boating safety information out to the public here in Vernon Hills. A couple weeks ago, we had 2 kids go over in Lake Charles, I believe it was. You know, the fire department responded. They were professionally trained and professionally equipped, successfully rescued these kids. Counter to that were 2 kids out there that did know their bow from the stern or the need to wear life jackets. And so what I'd like to ask, you know my background. I'm probably Vernon Hills' most experienced boater. And Bob Foley, who also has done over 25 MAC races like I have, he was going to come here tonight, but he couldn't make it. But we wanted to ask you to get that information out to either like through a TV thing or email, whatever you think is best. And I would suggest that in conjunction with the police and the fire department, you contact the Coast Guard Auxiliary, who are really the people who teach boating safety. And you can get killed. I go out and sail with the big boys where you can get killed in a heartbeat. You can get killed just as quick on these little ponds. So, these are life jackets, and they save lives. They only work when they're on. So if you could get that message out to the parents and kids of Vernon Hills, and you won't have some incident where the police have to come to some parent's door and say your kid just, unfortunately drowned in the pond, So thank you for your time. That's all I had to say. So.
Thank you.
And that could be an interesting,
I
something.
was going to
for
say, we got
Channel 4.
Lynn here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do a program on that. That would be great.
Yep.
Trying to get the info.
Well,
out
and
there.
I'm sure the Coast Guard has great information
probably
do.
on that too, so we can run something on Channel 4, hook it to the Facebook page. Pat and his team can work on some information too.
I mean, the auxiliary teaches us stuff every day, so why reinvent the wheel? Get them involved. So.
In light of what we have with summer celebration, is it worthy to have some information there? I don't know if people would pick it up or if they would look at it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
If it
pretty
would be-
late, but we definitely can get all this information out,
Okay.
most definitely.
Okay.
And people are more.
I'll be on my 33rd MAC race over summer celebrations. You guys enjoy
Okay.
yourselves.
All right, thanks.
I'll enjoy
Right,
it
don't,
for you,
before you leave, though, see the nice lady in the corner.
That nice lady in the corner?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
Make sure she's got all your contact information.
Thank you, Craig.
All right, we'll do. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, then, next item would be Village Manager Summer Celebration.
It's hard to believe that a week from tomorrow is opening night for summer celebration. 13, 14, 15, and 16 are the dates for our 4-day event. We've got another chalked agenda for those 4 days, starting Thursday night with Hello Weekend at 7 o'clock and fireworks at 9:15. The grounds on Thursday and Friday open at 6 p.m. to 10 o'clock on Thursday and 12 o'clock on Friday. Friday night we have Henneberry and Mike and Joe, and then a DJ performance under the tent at 11 o'clock p.m. And then grounds open on Saturday from 1 and will close at 12 midnight. Kids crafts and entertainment under the big tent, and then 7 o'clock we have the Verve Pipe opening for Toad the Wet Sprocket, starting at 9 o'clock. 11 o'clock then again the DJ will be under the big tent performing into the night. And then Sunday we have our 4th annual summer celebration car and bike show. That'll be held in the parking lot just south of the stage, which is the old OPA parking lot. Park District has been very generous in the use of their facilities and grounds, and this is one of those areas. The carnival grounds open at 1 o'clock that day. We have 1 to 4 kids crafts and entertainment. And then 2 o'clock, our 5th annual bags tournament. So if you have a bags team that you want to come out and play, it's double play only, and it's a single elimination tournament. You must be 18 to play. And then finally at 5 o'clock, a new thing, we're having karaoke. You can come up on the stage and strut your best karaoke rendition of something. So looking forward to that. That event, again, we have some great sponsors, CDW, American Hotel Register, Gewald, Hamilton, Steinhoffels, and Worth business supplies. So we're very fortunate to have those folks along with Rust-Oleum. So more information on summercell.com. And then the other thing is anybody who's interested in working or volunteering, you can also go on to summercell.com and sign up to help out during the event. The beer tent service especially is always looking for people to help. And thank you.
Okay. Any comments or questions on summer celebration? Okay. Then Assistant Village Manager, 4th of July, thank yous.
Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone involved in the 4th of July parade and fireworks. I have heard nothing but positive things, which is really a credit to the volunteers and staff who made this all possible. It's truly a collaborative effort that took many parties to take place. Especially like to thank the parade committee members and volunteers. Those include Kathy Byrne, Jeff Fougeroux, Tim Grebe, John and Elisa Hintz, Jeff Johnson, Steve Maslov, Dave Taylor, Patty Montello, Bob Pycook, Mary Vandermay, Ned Miller, Glenn and Kelly Nielsen, Stephanie Barros, Elder Farron, and Elder Ward. We had a record number of volunteers who helped us out on the day of the parade, and it really helped make the event go very, very smoothly, so we certainly appreciate that. We also are appreciative of the Park District for sponsoring the South Shore Drill Team, the Black Watch Band, and once again sponsoring the evening's entertainment, the Big Fun Band, which I know are always very well received as they attended numerous 4th of Julys as well. Thanks wouldn't be complete without thanking Public Works and the Police Department for all their efforts in traffic control in the morning and the evening. Public Works outdid themselves again by creating not one, but 2 Village Board floats, which turned out awesome, so big thanks to them. Also, thank you to Hawthorne District 73 for housing the bands. As you know, some of the bands come from out of state and as far away from Iowa, and they're housed there the night before, and which is a huge benefit to help us make sure that those bands can come and perform at our event. A very special thanks to Lisa Fishback. Her coordination with the parade and the day's events truly speaks to her dedication to the community and to the village. I mean, the 4th of July parade event and the fireworks simply would not run as smoothly without her. So I really appreciate all her hard work there. Last but not least, I'd also like to thank the Village Board for your continued support of the event. We're very appreciative of the opportunity to be able to hold this community-wide event that really brings families and friends together throughout the entire region to hold this event every year at the 4th. And every year it's a huge success, and that's all really thanks to you. So thank you very much.
Okay, any comments or questions from the board about it?
Just the fact that I think it was probably the largest because traffic was absolutely horrible. But also I noticed that, and you were indicating that you had taken up a vantage point in a locale that gave you a little better access to leave. But the people were lined up on 60 in front of Portillo's and Target there on the side of that berm, and they were way around the lake. I had never really seen people that far at the north end of the lake, so I don't know how many people were there, but it was spectacular in the total number of people that came out. So thank you, Joe, and your team for making it such a spectacular event.
Okay, anything else?
We're candy next year. Just kidding.
Okay, then next thing would be the omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through R?
So made.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any questions, concerns? Okay, then roll call, please.
Trustees Takaoka, Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim.
Motion carries. Unfinished business. Approval and passage of ordinance number 2017-084, an ordinance amending the Village of Vernon Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10 licenses, permits, and miscellaneous business regulations, Article 3 tobacco sales, Division 1 generally, and Division 2 license. This is about raising the age to 21 to purchase.
Thank you, Mr. President. In your, or at your place tonight is a copy of a couple of minor additions to the proposed ordinance that's in your packet. The additional comments, as you see, are highlighted in yellow, or additional amendments are highlighted in yellow in your packet, and came about through some email discussions with Trustee Oppenheim, asking for some clarification on a couple of items. You'll note under the e-cigarette definition, the additional item that specifically excludes devices used for humidifying rooms or to deliver inhaled medications. He asked for that clarification to be added to that. And then on page 4, you'll notice under 10-70, under the posting of signs, we've inserted the language that talks about provided by the village clerk, and also then the sign itself will read the sale or transfer of tobacco products. And then below that, you'll notice that we've struck out the size of the sign, and what is being proposed there is that the village will provide the sign to the individual merchants to post there. And, you know, if you have any specific questions, the chief can answer you with regards to that. We just got to make sure it's the right size and legible and in multiple fonts and those types of things to make it clear. So
The wording "or transfer," why is that? Because someone may in fact have enough Marlboro points or whatever? I don't know how it works. It's been so long, but
Yeah.
that they could acquire tobacco products without having to do a sale transaction?
well, I think part of it is the transfer from a purchaser to somebody who didn't purchase. So
That's
but it's an addition to and
is that in the liquor code?
Pat.
In a roundabout way, it's worded differently in the liquor code. So there's not a side-by-side comparison of liquor code language, but for instance, the liquor code language uses something similar to say a purpose, for the purpose of buying, accepting, or receiving alcohol. So it's more than just selling. It includes this idea of transfer. I think reading
Why don't we use the same language that's in the alcohol? Because I'm all in favor of raising the age, and I want to pursue this tonight and be done with this and move forward. But this is going into the act of someone other than the retailer, and basically all we're doing is managing the retail operation. That's why I got a little bit of heartburn with the "or transfer."
the exact language of our liquor code goes about this a different way. It would take a substantial readjustment to this in order for us to get there. And remember, the liquor code does prohibit the possession or consumption of anyone under 21.
Right.
This suggestion was provided by one trustee to try and strengthen.
Yeah, I'm fine with the other changes, but I'm uncomfortable with the,
Sure.
so.
And we can strike it if you want. I mean,
Well,
it's just
I
a
would
suggestion.
leave it.
I share Trustee Schultz's concern about the problem we talked about that you covered so well at the previous meeting about getting too far over our skis with in terms of people from out of town and you know, and all that kind of thing. Until this is a state law, I think we're probably better off just controlling the actual sale. That's my personal preference, because it would be, I hate writing laws that are relatively unenforceable.
Of course. I think these 4 changes were for your consideration
Yeah.
tonight. And if there's 3 of the 4 that you're comfortable with, you know, that would be the direction that we would take.
I am and again, for the same reason of, it's real simple for somebody, I don't care where they're from, they walk into a store here, they can't buy tobacco, period. That's easy to enforce. But somebody who's from Wisconsin and they're staying here at a hotel and they give some tobacco to somebody's, they don't know that it's illegal in our town. And that makes it very, very difficult to, and once it becomes like a state law, then, because that was the same problem I had with the enforcing possession under 21.
Of course.
So let's just take out the word "or transfer."
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt this ordinance as presented to the board in the written document, with the exception that within section 1070, the "or transfer" shall be stricken.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, with that change. Any other comments or questions?
I do have a question. With Trustee Cook now as President Pro Tem, I mean, is his vote as a trustee
Yeah.
viable?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Great.
There was just one further question regarding the effective date. The recommendation was that we make this effective August 1, 2017. That gives plenty of time to conduct the outreach to our retailers.
Is that enough time?
It's enough time.
Is it?
Okay.
The first is amenable to that.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustees Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim, Takaoka.
Okay, motion carries. Okay,
Now I'll stop getting lobbying email.
new business and communication, approval and passage of resolution 2017-056, a resolution granting approval to operate outdoor special event for the Room Place, 701 North Milwaukee Avenue.
I can provide just a brief summary if you wish. You may have noticed when you walked in, there's a revised resolution that was left in front of you. The Room Place is requesting change from the dates that were outlined in your packet. The dates for the sidewalk sale would be broken into 2 weekends. The first one would be from July 14th to July 16th. The second one from July 21st to July 23rd. The hours of operation would be Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Basically, they'd be placing furniture in front of their store under the overhang. They would maintain a 5-foot access from the curb to their main entrance, and then the sidewalk that is between the landscape islands and the curb would remain unobstructed. So it's about 10 feet of unobstructed sidewalk, so pedestrians can walk side to side as well. The application and site plan are attached to your packet, and if the board feels this temporary use is appropriate, then a motion approving the resolution, the paper copy version that's in front of you, is recommended, subject to the conditions that are outlined in that resolution.
Okay. Trustee Hebda.
It's displayed on the sidewalk, so if someone buys it, do they have to take it right there? How does that?
Our stock guy will take it inside, wrap it for them, and load it up for them.
They have to take it
Exactly.
home themselves? Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect. So it's not like,
No, not no cash and
perfect,
carry.
it's
no.
like cash and carry. Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustees Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim, Takaoka, Hebda.
Aye,
Motion carries. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other new business or communication to come before the board? No? Okay. Are we?
No, sir,
exec-
no closed session.
No exec- okay, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the board meeting and go to committee of the whole.
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim, Takaoka, Hebda.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Motion carries. Committee of the Whole, approval of the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes of June 20th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion a second. Any corrections, changes, concerns? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustees Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim, Takaoka, Hebda.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Markwart.
Aye.
Motion carries. Second item, request from the Beer Market for approval of an addition to their facility located in the Vernon Hills Town Center, 1270 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Good evening.
Thank you. I can, again, give a brief summary for this. Beer Market is going through a rebrand that will include a name change to Beerhead. That'll be the new name of their establishment. Also, that a change will be to include food service that'll be prepared and served on site. What they're going to do is the existing mezzanine, which is above the bar area, that's where the kitchen will be located. So in support of this kitchen, they're proposing an addition, and it's shown on the screen in front of you in the pink color. There would be an addition that would connect the existing building with the existing refuge container enclosure, and that would be used for storage. On the next slide there, you can see on the top of the screen is the view from the northwest. That's how the addition would look. Now, you'll note that the brick appears to be a darker tone color. That's only for the purposes of delineating where the addition is versus the existing building. The attempt is going to be to match the existing brick and stone, for that matter, as close as possible with the existing. So for tonight, as the board is aware, this is located in the Vernon Hills Town Center, and the ordinance that approved this development granted approval of a special use permit authorizing a planned unit development. So in your deliberations tonight, the board needs to determine if this addition meets the concept and intent of the PUD. If the board feels that the change is substantial, then the matter should be referred back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for further consideration and a reopening of the public hearing. If the COW feels the changes are minor and does support the overall intent of the PUD, then it would be appropriate to recommend an amendment to the approved ordinance. Staff, in reviewing the material changes, feels the addition does support the intent and concept of the PUD. The architectural style and the materials would match that of the existing structure. So if the COW concurs with staff's recommendation and feels the changes are appropriate, it is recommended that staff be directed to prepare an ordinance, amending ordinance 2007-031, to allow the addition as set forth in front of you and in accordance with the conditions that are outlined in your packet. And a representative of the Beer Market, soon to be Beerhead, is here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, I have a trustee, but if we could get your name for the record.
Sure, my name's Larry Price.
Okay, all right. Trustee Markwart.
Yes, the question is why the change of, excuse me, why the change to serve food instead of going out?
Well, I'm their contractor for the build-out, so I really can't give you a direct answer. I think they just feel that they're losing some revenue to the, by not serving any food. There are other locations that they have here in Schaumburg. They just opened one in Elmhurst. And in Bolingbrook, I believe they all serve food at those locations.
Okay. And they will not then, whoever has come in now for serving, they're going to cancel it out. So it's all in-house.
Correct. And their menu's going to be very small. They have a little small toaster, pizza, sandwiches. They're not having a cooking hood or no French fries or not heavy cooking.
Okay.
Well, to clarify, does that mean they're not going to do any?
That's my,
Was that your question?
my
Yeah,
concern
Mike
is
brought that
the
up.
whole concept here was the beer market was going to come in and serve the beer, and then the other proprietors like Urban Barbecue and the burger place, the pizza places, and sushi they'd bring it over for
Correct.
the public to use.
Correct.
And that each hand was helping each other.
I don't think
Now,
they're going to stop those people
they
from
aren't gonna
serving
stop, so those
food
will
there,
still
but they're
there.
going to
They're
be
still
adding to
recommend-
it.
Okay, because that was a
Correct.
really unique concept, and I'm worried that if we take that away, That was the whole idea of them presenting to us. We thought, hey, this is great. We're helping businesses
other.
out with each other. So that's still going to be on their menu. So they could
Correct.
still order from your kitchen, but they can also
Correct.
call over to those other places to order,
Correct.
and food will be delivered to them as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
because I like the idea of
Yeah.
the addition of food,
Yes.
because this was about the only place at the time that we had, if I could think, it still is the only place that doesn't have food that has a liquor license in the entire community, so we made an exception for that. So I like the addition of the food, but not if it's going to be too limited a menu. So if we could, find out from them directly, exactly what
For
this is
sure.
going to, okay?
Certainly, we can do that, and if you wish, in your motion, we can include that as a condition of
Yes.
approval.
Yes, I would.
Yes.
Well,
Trustee Schultz?
yeah, I don't want to move forward on this. I'm sorry, you're
That's
the
fine.
general contractor, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to see the folks in the beer market, because I'm kind of getting the impression that they're probably really looking at just creating some toaster-type pizzas or whatever.
Correct.
After 10 o'clock, when
Maybe some
Tom and Harry and Urban Barbie and everybody else shuts their door, but I want to confirm that. And also, I'd like to see what the entire menu is, and if they're going to continue with music, and just
They will
the
be
whole
con-
9
they-
yards.
They are continuing with
Yeah,
music.
but I'd like to hear them say that, because you don't have any skin in the game with regard to the operation of it.
I understand.
Want to build an addition, and it's not proper for us to be asking you these questions. So I'd
Yeah.
like to table this have them come back at a future meeting to
Well,
answer these.
And again, this is only committee, so it's not really anything we're taking action on, so.
Right, that's why I would not
But I-
want to
I-
promote a motion to generate an ordinance at this time, because we don't really have all the facts.
Yeah, what we could do is, we can contact the owners. They live out of state. We'll figure out what date they can attend the meeting, make sure they're here.
Or if they have a representative here, a manager, they
That'd be
must
fine.
have a general manager that is responsible for the hiring and firing and taking the money to the bank and et cetera, et cetera.
Well, we'll make sure there's a representative of the company that can speak in detail as to what's going to be on the menu and answer those types of
answer
questions.
those questions to the.
We could also have an example menu ready for you to also as part of your packet, and once we can get all that together, we'll place it on unfinished business. We don't have to do an ordinance approving or not approving, we can just put it on unfinished business and let you continue the discussion.
Okay. Because, no pun intended, but it's kind of half-baked right now, so.
Understood.
So I'm just looking for clarification. I'm sorry, Mike. So is it finding from the committee, at least at this point, that a public hearing would not be required, but would it be required to come back with the representative from the beer head?
I don't.
I don't see why we,
My
unless
only
there's some
con-
legal reason.
My big concern, though, is you better match that brick. You better make sure that it's all, I don't want to see a hodgepodge, Michael. You know me. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll make sure we have all the detail
All
you
the
asked for at the
colors.
next meeting.
Okay.
So whatever we do, that it looks good.
Anything else on this matter? Okay, thank you
Thank you,
very much.
sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Next item, consideration to remodel the village hall, creating meeting rooms for use by community groups and organizations.
Thank you, and I'll just do some review to remind the board what got us here. With the, well, everyone's aware that in the Lashen Center, meeting spaces were made available for neighborhood groups, and with the Parks District leaving the center and with its scheduled closing at the end of this year, there becomes a need of where can we find these meeting spaces for neighborhood groups? What we've done in the short term is we've kept the lower level of the Lashen Center open, and we've gone ahead and we've scheduled as the Park District normally would. What we have is 108 meeting dates so far for 2017. That's comprised of 8 homeowners associations, 3 scout dens, and 1 church. So there does seem to be a need that's been demonstrated. Also of note, village staff has been working with the Lake County Clerk's Office to find an alternate polling location. At this time, we have a tentative agreement whereby they would use the senior center in the lower level of the village hall, and this would work for the spring 2018 elections. So again, all this serves us in the short term, but we still need to explore a long-term, more permanent solution. And with that in mind, the village board authorized the contract with Hesner to do a space needs analysis and also a cost analysis to look at the underutilized space of the village hall to see what kind of alternatives we have in terms of putting meeting spaces there. And so that analysis has been completed, and what we have for you tonight are three different options. In front of you there is plan option A, and you can tell the shaded area is the area that would be remodeled. It would be in the area that was formerly occupied by engineering inspector staff, which is now located in Public Works. So that area pretty much is not used at all. The inspection staff to the top of that would remain in place. And there'd be a wall that would be installed that would separate the village hall from the meeting spaces. So we'd end up with a large meeting space, which is approximately 28 by 34 feet, and then we would retain the smaller meeting space, which is approximately 14 by 20 feet. Building inspection staff would remain in place. This option, assuming a 10% contingency, which is yet to be approved by the village board, would cost $212,657.
How much?
$212,657. Plan option B is in front of you here. With this option, you can see that instead of one large meeting space, there'd be two large meeting spaces that are created. And again, we would retain the smaller meeting space. The area where the building inspectors are now would be where the second meeting space would be constructed. The inspectors would move to a remodeled, enlarged space that is currently used as the copy room. And the copy room would be moved to the office that was formerly the village clerk's office. This option, including a 10% contingency, would be $449,656.
400 and how much?
Yeah, these are
They're
estimates. They're estimates. They're opinions of probable cost. They were prepared by Kurt Hessner, very conservative. But, you know, this is going to give you an idea of where we're at, though. Here's option C. Option C is, the floor plan is pretty much the same as option B, except there's certain elements that have been added into the scope of the project. Those would include carpeting the village hall, the boardroom. It would include furniture, AV equipment. It would include also carpet in the administrative area of the village hall. And it would also laminate tops over the relocated and reconfigured filing cabinets. This option, with a 10% contingency, would be over $600,000. It'd be $641,000. So, in reviewing these options, staff is looking for direction from the board, and there's a number of directions we're asking. First of all, do we still want to consider any of these options? Option A, the $200,000 option, option B, the 400 and change option, or option C? And if we do, which option does the board wish for us to pursue?
I think A or B, yeah.
So that's the first thing, and I'll await the board's discussion on that.
Okay. Trustee Markwart?
In seeing from 200 to over $500,000 for meeting area, I don't see it. In A would actually be a little better because you're creating two areas. You said you have 108, or we have 108 people that are 108 scheduled meeting areas. For the amount to spend $600,000, I don't see it. Even the 200 sounds high to me when you're taking a look at the section where I'm looking at, is a lot. So I'd definitely do some consideration in regards to how we're going to do this.
Trustee Hebda?
Currently, what happens at the Lashon Center? Is someone there to let them in and out? Do we have staff over there in the evenings? We do.
No.
No, we do not.
It's unmanned at this point. The CSO comes
Let-
over prior to and then is responsible for locking it up every evening. The Park District at one time did man it in
Yes.
the evenings, but it is unmanned now.
Okay.
Yeah, when the Park District granted, it was manned. 'cause-
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at option A because to me that offers the greatest flexibility in terms of size. But they'll come through the front entrance?
Yeah, you know, the way it would
And
work.
how would that work with manning and all that's over here?
Yeah, understood. It would work the same way it did when we had the library in the lower level.
Yeah?
We would zone the security area so that we could, so the village hall could be completely locked and separated from the foyer area and the meeting space area. This would also allow use of the drinking fountain and washroom facilities. We wouldn't have to incur the cost of.
Oh, okay, good, yeah, because okay. Because I think it's appropriate to provide meeting space for those groups that are within the village, and there's not a whole lot of choices as to where they can go, unfortunately. So I think we need to do something, but to me, the least expensive one would be my feelings as far as that goes, so.
Trustee Schultz?
This includes the new rooftop unit we had talked about. Mike and I had an opportunity to talk about this several weeks ago, and there was a requirement for additional HVAC for this space just because of the headcount load that would be added.
And it does.
Okay.
You know, when you go from a business occupancy to an assembly occupancy, the air change requirements of the building code are such that we would have to upgrade the existing rooftop unit.
That was about 40 to 60,000 in that range.
Something like that, yeah.
So that's a big chunk
That's a
of
big
that,
chunk, okay.
that 200,000. Would you happen to know, and you probably don't, and it's an unfair question, but the amount of square footage in the lower level rooms at the Lashon Center that are used by the polling place versus the amount of square footage that this is, just to make sure it's big enough? And with that being said, the only change I might suggest is that instead of those single doors leading into that quote-unquote vestibule space and then leading into the assembly space, that we might take a look at a set of double doors just because of the polling place and allowing easier egress. I know that might be a little problematic with fobs and things, but
Well, I think it's a good point. You know, what we've discussed is a side light. So it doesn't, in other words, it just doesn't look like some door that might lead to a closet. It needs to look like a door that you're supposed to enter
Yeah.
into. And you
Right.
could see what's going on the other side of the door
with that being
and understand
said,
this is
though,
where I need to be.
think that the double doors would create,
Absolutely.
traffic flow in both directions, especially during peak periods of election. But yeah, if someone could say that that's reasonably equivalent to that lower level space, just to make sure that, the because that, I like it. I mean, it's simple, and it achieves what we wanted to do. I would have liked a bigger space, I think, just to have it, not necessarily having a good reason why, but this works. So if it does work, I'm good with it.
Well, I don't think square footage is probably not as critical as number of rooms. If you're talking 108, I mean, there are going to be a lot of those evenings where there are going to be 3 groups.
Well,
Do we know roughly how many nights with the Park District booking and that there were more than 2 groups? Because if there were very few, then A would be fine because it provides 2 spaces, but.
Well, I think a couple things. First, everybody remembers that there's a church that operates on Sundays on that. So they're there 52 weeks a year. So that's a large user. You also have mixed groups in terms of size. Some of them are like a board of an HOA where it's a half a dozen people that you can put in a small conference room.
Right.
And then you have a larger group, maybe a group of scouts or something like that that can go next door. Or you may have a HOA general meeting, I think, or whatever it is, where you invite everybody in that could go into the larger room and the like. So I think by having the two spaces here, the conference room that we would use and then also this large room, I think that flexibility is there with the exception of the church.
So basically, you're saying there's only 56 meetings a year.
Right.
2 per week.
Yeah, well, taking the church out of it.
Yes.
Yes, right.
So,
So, I mean, does the
Almost
Park
six.
District have any kind of historic records of,
Well, we could,
Average number.
we can ask them.
well,
Oh, yeah, we have that information, what they've done in the
But isn't it also
past.
true that the Park District is currently hosting at the Sullivan Center now, too?
They are in some limited form.
Right.
They are very limited.
Right.
The library was also taking a handful of folks, but again, they're very limited too. In fact, they're talking about building an addition onto the building to accommodate more, but
With a
long-term.
basement.
Yeah.
well, the reason I was asking is because having been to a number of meetings, with HOA, I don't recall any nights that there were more than, 2 meetings.
Right.
And I was just,
Right.
because if we're pretty much limited to 2, that would be fine, then option A would work.
Yeah, and I think that based on the usage that we've seen today and over the past year, groups have either found different places to locate, or they're going to individual homes because of the smallness of it, or they're doing something different with their meetings. So I think it's a combination of trying to accommodate as many folks as possible, or different size groups as possible, trying to accommodate the polling place that we're working with the county on, and it appears that, and we'll do a quick measure on the other room, it appears that this will actually work out better for them from a visibility standpoint and an access standpoint and the like. So I think it addresses all of those concerns, so.
Okay.
And, and again, the other part of this too is, there's also going to be a limitation. I mean, we could build as much space as you want or retrofit as much space as you want, and we could probably fill it, but you're probably bringing in people from outside the community also. So.
All right, anything else on this?
Well, if the board, is there just a general consensus on the plan option that we're going forward with, which I'm hearing is plan option A? If
Yeah.
that's-
Yes.
Okay. And then the second request is regarding design and bid specification services. Staff is recommending that we waive the competitive bidding process and authorize the village to enter into a contract with Hesner for design and bid specification services. Hesner has already completed the preliminary study, the space needs analysis, the probable cost analysis, and so it just makes logical sense that they could easily transition into the next phase of this project for architectural services. And so if the board concurs with that, then we request a motion directing staff to prepare an ordinance authorizing the village to enter into a design bid specification contract with Hesner.
Okay, is there,
In the amount not to exceed $15,963.
is there a motion to that extent?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion a second. Any other comments or questions about that?
Just as a part of that ordinance, we'd also be waiving the competitive bidding process.
Yes.
So that would be part of the, part and parcel of the ordinance.
I guess the one thing, and I'm fine, move forward with that, but if there are any functions that we can complete in-house,
Let's do those.
demolition, whatever,
Let's do it
using
ourselves.
our own part-time labor, whatever, prior,
Absolutely.
prepping the area for construction, whatever. I'd like them to try and truly identify that to
That we can do
minimize
it.
the costs.
We'll work hard to make sure at the design phase, we're finding every opportunity to reduce cost. And then when we get into the bidding phases, when we're talking to various subcontractors, working with them to also find ways to
Ways to
reduce
improve
cost.
it.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments or questions on this? Okay, we have a motion and a second, right? Roll call, please.
Trustees Takaoka, Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markort,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye,
Oppenheim.
motion carries.
The last item is construction management services. We'll just throw this out there for the board to consider. If you wanted to, we could also move to waive the competitive bid process and enter into a contract with Hes Corp., which is an arm of Hesner, the construction management arm, where they would provide construction management services. They would help us through the bidding process. The village would still have a say in the selection of all the subcontractors. In lieu of this, the board may also direct staff to prepare an RFP where we would go out and request responses from various companies and contractors for construction management services. We would then come back to you with a recommendation with who we think is the most responsive and responsible firm.
I think this is a good opportunity to stretch our legs with regard to the agreement that we entered into a couple of weeks ago with Libertyville and Mundaline to acquire some additional as-needed services. So I'd prefer we try and do it in-house.
Okay, so if I understand right, then we'll just, once we have the design drawings and the bid specifications available, then we'll go out to bid, basically, is what we'll do. We'll get the numbers, we'll come back to you with a recommendation, and then the board can decide at that time, once you see all the numbers, which firm you would choose to do the work. Is that, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think between you and Dave and, again, utilizing this new agreement we have in place, utilize some of the brain power of Mundaline and Libertyville, move forward that way.
So do you need a motion to that?
Thank you for that. It sounds, I don't think we need a motion for that.
Okay.
I think we have clear direction, consensus on the board on the plan option, which is plan option A, and a direction from the board to prepare an ordinance waiving the competitive bidding process and entering into a contract with Hesner for design bid specification services.
All right. Is there anything else then on this subject? Okay. Then, since there's nothing else on the agenda, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So made.
Second?
We have a motion, a second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim, Takaoka, Hebda.
Aye.
Motion carries. So we are finished. Thank you.